A new kind of influencer has been born. The chronic illness influencer. And some are attracting huge followings.
My name's Hannah, I have a stoma, and one day I want to have kids. So, how's that happen?
Millions around the world live with chronic illness, and that figure is growing fast, especially among young women.
From the age of about 10 or 11, I started to experience chronic pain in my back and my legs. Sort of just spiraled as I got older. So I ended up kind of finding a community online of other chronically ill people. But as I started to get answers, there was this really weird culture of people who would try and list off kind of how much worse they were. And you get people who compete with, look how high my heart rate got today, or how low my blood pressure got, which I used to do, annoyingly.
Back in February last year, a friend in the office sent me a link. People are accusing chronic illness influencers of faking it online, he said. There's a Reddit group called Illness Fakers, where nearly 80,000 people act as judge and jury on who is really ill and who is not. They create timelines, scouring influencers' social media profiles for inconsistencies.
I remember one of my friends saying that they have some group chats and my name had come up. And I remember going on to try and find whatever had been said and seeing the absolute torrent of information that they were sharing and the thousands of people on there. They moved it over to a forum that is completely unregulated, and they'd shared my address. And it was so terrifying. I kept my blinds shut and my windows shut. I ended up getting incredibly mentally unwell and eventually hospitalized for it.
So who is behind the Reddit group? One of the original members was a 30-something I'm calling Amy. I wanted to know why anyone would start a group like this.
I think if you make it entirely taboo to talk about the idea of people faking, then it's gonna run rampant.
Do you regret starting it?
When it comes down to it, I feel like people were posted who I don't believe were faking. Like, we're not saying women lie, because most of us ourselves were women with chronic illnesses.
This is when it hit me. Many of the accusers are chronically ill themselves. They're furious at the idea that people are faking illnesses, their illnesses, for fame, attention, and money. I was still struggling with the idea that people posting about chronic illness should ever be disbelieved. Then I found Caitlin, not her real name, who became convinced her sister was faking it. Caitlin's sister had lupus, but other supposed illnesses began to pile up.
So she had received a double mastectomy. She convinced a doctor that she had a family history of breast cancer, and that she had a genetic predisposition to it. I remember when I first saw her with a shaved head, it was really alarming. It wasn't until we found shaving cream and bleach for her eyebrows in her bag that we realized that her hair was, growing normally. Slowly but surely, we put the pieces together.
As I explored the world of illness fakers, one word kept coming up: munchies. It's short for a new category of Munchausen syndrome called Munchausen by internet, in which people feign or exaggerate illnesses online. Anushka Anderson's a forensic psychology researcher, specialising in medical deception. She's seen the harassment of influencers become increasingly aggressive, but she's also seen some influencers embrace extreme methods to prove they're really ill.
The further into this disorder that you go, the more extreme your behaviours need to be. And whether that is, for example, using fecal matter to cause infections in feeding tubes, you get away with it once, twice, and people on the internet who are reaching out and they're praying for you, it becomes addictive, and at that point is when this becomes deadly.
I've been following some of the young women Anushka is worried about. Sometimes they contradict themselves. Others have even admitted they have been exaggerating. But without access to their private medical records, there's no way of knowing what's really going on with them. The truth is, nobody, not even experts, can really know what's going on with someone just by looking at their social media. And nobody should be putting their life at risk trying to prove themselves to others.